watched a movie and you thought, my God, I absolutely hate this main character. I can't relate to them, or what they represent is reprehensible, or something like that. In any case, here are 4 films where you hate the main character. Lord knows I do. First up is a tie. It's both Nick and Annie from the 2007 film The Invisible. This one's a bit too easy because they suck, and so did the movie. Now, I know I talked a bit about Justin Chatwin before, and I know that his character Nick is supposed to be in a type of limbo, but why does he seem like he's half dead through the entire movie? Every scene is him just being, oh, I'm dead. Like, he's a well-off person who is at a stage in his life where he can do anything he wants, but instead he sees it as his life is mapped out by his mom and he wants to go do something else. And I'm like, well, why don't you just talk to her and tell her that's what you want to do? And on the other hand, Annie is made up to be hated throughout most of the movie and then sympathetic towards the end in order for her to help the rich kid be okay. And this is because she's poor and considered worthless with no future. This movie just annoys and fascinates me at the same time. That's why I keep bringing it up. Anyway, Nick just doesn't seem to react like a real human at any point. Now, I'm not saying he should run around panicking like an idiot the whole time, but to have almost no reaction to the fact that he's a half-ghost really seems stupid. And Annie, spoilers, she dies trying to help him get back to his body so he can be alive again. But she's the one who pretty much kicked his ass. Well, she delivered the killing blow, so it's her fault. And this movie has a very strange class association thing. The poor person is the evil one and it's her fault and she's bad and has no future and worthless. And then Nick the rich kid is the good one who we should want to succeed, but he seems lazy and doesn't really earn it. And he says how she's broken, but he doesn't know anything about her life. And as the movie gets towards the end, they get to know each other better, but then she dies so he can live. And it just seems like, well, that's the one good thing she did, was save the rich white boy. It's really dumb. The whole movie's just dumb. Great concept. I love the concept. I guess it was a Swedish film before it in 2002, and before that it was based off of a book, also in Sweden. So there's more to it. Maybe that's what fascinates me, is how can something that seems interesting on the surface, at least to a point, be whittled down into something so stupid and Americanized so much, where the most memorable thing about the movie is Justin Chatwin's horrible acting and the soundtrack that never lets you forget, hey, it's 2007. Check it. This new sound you've been looking for? Well, listen to this. It had some good songs on it, though. I can admit it had some good songs. Next, we have Frozen. Elsa's a selfish, stupid bitch. Anna, however, is great. So, yeah, it's part of the story that Elsa has gnarly ice powers, and that's the whole gimmick of her being frozen, and her heart's frozen. But she's the one who freezes her sister, and it's like, you're just a jerk. You're just an asshole. Sorry. And for a character that's supposed to have so much importance, why is it during her actually very little screen time does she use it to just be dumb? Dumb and shitty to her sister Anna, who never stopped caring about her. What the hell? Just talk to her. Be an adult and talk to her. Listen up, little girls. Here's the thing. Always be yourself. But if you have to look up to someone, look up to Anna. She's cool. She's kind. She's awesome. That way, if we had more Annas, there'd be a lot less Elsas in the world. Third up is Leonardo DiCaprio as Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street. While this movie was actually pretty great, his character is someone who just got so greedy and self-destructive that you really just hated him throughout the film. By the end of it, you're so repulsed with his way of living that there's no way you could actually sympathize for this character. At the very beginning of the film, you can kind of see how he was just a young man who didn't know what he wanted to do with his life other than get rich. So he went to the best place to do that. And then you see how it sort of corrupted him into something even worse. You know, he had ambition, yes, but he was also greedy, and that led to self-destruction. I'm sure most people who saw this film in the theater were rooting for his character because he was one of those like, I do what I want and I don't care, and you government, you can't tell me what to do. But the funny thing is, he's the kind of character that actually screwed over a lot of poor people and then later screwed over rich people. So the audience should really be booing him the entire time. We should not sympathize with his character at all. Like one critique in the film, he is a sort of twisted Robin Hood where he steals from the rich and gives to himself. The idea of a self-made man is something to aspire to, but by stepping on people along the way, it loses credibility. If you do something to better yourself, but it hurts other people unnecessarily, or in a cruel and unjust way, that doesn't seem worth it to me. Hold on, that's probably the FBI. I'm an informant. Yep, sure enough, I got Leo arrested. And last we have Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie, or is it Caribbean? I don't know. In the original film, people loved this character. You know, he was a very funny takeoff of Keith Richards. Fairly obvious. But this drugged up hippie, he became more of a straight up villain in the second movie. You know, he was obviously a favorite of people watching these films, but really if you watch that second movie, he screws over the main characters who are good people, played by Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, and he's basically the bad guy of the story. And yet people are like, oh, it's whimsical, he's funny, ha ha ha. No, he's a damn fiend, and he should be put to death. Because guess what? He's still a goddamn pirate. Pirates are not nice, happy people. Kind of like with Leo's Wolf of Wall Street character, Jordan. We have Jack Sparrow, who people are rooting for, but it's like, this guy's an asshole. And again, I get the appeal of the character. He's a bit of a Joker type and a bit of a wild card, but it doesn't justify the fact that he actually almost gets them killed, if I remember correctly. As my friend Matt, who you may know from the Half-Nerdcast, used to tell me at times, very gleefully, there's always something more to Captain Jack Sparrow. And I'd always tell him gleefully, shut the hell up. And that is to say that I don't despise the character, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, he's a good character that I should root for and be happy about. You know, he's just walking around going, oh, I think I'm going to steal some gold or something. I'm moving around shaking. Like, this man has like a form of Parkinson's or something. There's always something more to Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah, like syphilis. God damn it. I hate him. I hate all these characters I just talked about. I guess I'm just full of hate. I'm just full of hate. 'Cause I hate you and I hate you and I hate you and I hate you.